Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. Wow. We had some excitement last night. During DCA, we were waiting for 50,000 Bitcoin, and it finally came. And everything else is rocketing up right now. Cardano is nearing $3. Binance Coin, others are just having a very, very, very good day. And Bitcoin is having a good day too, even though it pulled down a little bit, but it is on its way. And today I'm going to present some facts, some metrics, some analytics that show you that Bitcoin is ready to rocket towards 220,000 or beyond. Doesn't mean that it's tomorrow, but it is on its way. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams mostly every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. No, not TikTok. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and follow me or check out all the latest news articles and guides on CryptosRUs.com. I was gonna say OnlyFans too, but you know they got rid of explicit stuff, so I can't be on OnlyFans anymore. Anyways, welcome guys, welcome. Let's look at Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin is at 49.5. Of course, I mentioned it was a little bit higher. It looked like it was going to go to 51. It stopped around 50,500, pulled down, and now you can see it's utilizing this 49.5 as a support, which is fantastic because that has been a resistance for quite some time. You know, since the August 20th, which is 3 days ago. See, it's funny when I say quite some time, it feels like it's been a week. No, it only hit. It only hit this point about 3 days ago, and we were stuck below for 3 days. Now we're above, utilizing this as a support, and that's fantastic. But is this it? Is this the end of Bitcoin? No, it definitely isn't. So today I'm going to show you why it's going to continue higher and possibly hit 220,000 by the end of this cycle, which is only 4 months away. Actually, 3 months away if you think about it, because we're almost in September. Now, besides Bitcoin, well, I mean, look at everything else today. I mean, things are just good. Ethereum is up 4.5%. Cardano, 293. It just seems to make a new high every single day. Every single day now. So it's going to shatter through $3 pretty soon. And where can it go? I've made predictions before. I mean, it could definitely go very, 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 very far, very high by the end of this year. Binance Coin is starting to play catch up 12% today, above 500 once again. And you have a lot of good movers today. Overall, a lot of good movement. Avalanche is coming down a little bit from its pump, but still it's up 134% for the last 7 days. No one's complaining about that. Today, even Monero's jumping in at 14%. So you have some really, really good movers. Hey, look at AMP, up 14% today. That's also fantastic. And another privacy coin, Dash, that's up 13%. So you have some really, really good movers. But what's really surprising to me right now is Cardano, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up. It just doesn't. It's like buy the rumor, buy the news. This is what I was saying on DCA last night, and hopefully you guys caught that. I enjoyed yesterday's episode, but we talked a lot about some of these altcoins that have really pumped up recently, and Cardano just seems like it's buy the rumor, buy the news. All right, so let's get started. What's going on with Bitcoin? Why can it go up to 220,000 by the end of this cycle? First of all, let me show you some charts. Historical charts of Bitcoin. Now, this is something that I've shown before many times in the past. I haven't shown it recently, but I like to remind you guys what happened in 2017. For those of you guys that weren't around, or maybe you were around and you just don't remember. But, you know, our cycle right now versus 2017 is very similar, very similar. We had a bigger dip over here, but everything else has been pretty similar. Starting with the 86% drop from previous high, yes, we had an 84% drop. It took us how many days? About 1,000 days to get back to its previous high. And here we were about 1,100 days. So you could see it's pretty similar, right? And after hitting that previous high in 2017, and that was about $1,200, guess what? It went on a 1,500% gain or run where Bitcoin topped out around $20,000. Okay, so we know that. We know that happened. But I think most people don't realize that out of the 1,500% gains, about 576% of that, okay, so about 600% came from September to December. Okay, and guess where we're heading into? September. So most of the gains, Bitcoin was still at $3,000 September 17th of 2017. So September, October, November, December. 4 months. 4 months of the last year, right? Or 3 months, I should say. Bitcoin went up almost 600%. That is what a blow off top looks like. And while this was happening, altcoins, was coming up full force. And after Bitcoin came down a little bit, that's when altcoins really had a blow off top the first 2 weeks of 2018. So, looking at where we are now, I drew these arrows like back in like March or January 2020. And you can see, even though we had a dip here, we caught up pretty quick. This is just projecting where we will be at the end of the year if we do the 1,500% gain like before. So starting from 20,000, go up 1,500% like before, where will Bitcoin be? $260,000. And there's someone else that thinks that Bitcoin will go up to $260,000 too. But you can see, yes, obviously, we had a little dip. We broke through. We're not following this exponentially rising line, but Bitcoin could come up and catch up really, really quickly. And remember about that 600% gain coming from September, October, November, December. So basically 4 months, right? And guess where we're heading into? We're heading into September. So if we have that same kind of rise, that 500 something percent rise from September, let's just say where we are now, right? Boom, right there. That's not even a 600% gain. Let's just say a 500% gain from September on to December. Well, that would put Bitcoin at $230,000. So this 200,000 mark for Bitcoin seems outrageous. Seems like it can't possibly be true since we're still at $50,000. But we said the same thing before about Bitcoin. You don't ever underestimate Bitcoin during a bull run, especially during the last few months of the fourth year. You don't want to underestimate that because that is when almost all the gains comes in during those times, right? So we're heading into those times. August is almost the same. August is coming to close. September is coming. And you know what? I know some of you guys are watching this. You're like, well, there's no way that we can have the same kind of gains like before. There's no way. The dollar amount is so much higher. There's no way that we have this much money coming in. Really? This previous cycle, everything that we had before 2013 to 2017, we never had countries coming in, okay, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We never had global adoption, right? We never had PayPal and Square and Robinhood and everyone else that is offering crypto trading and buying, right? We never had MicroStrategy or Tesla or Square or even the miners buying up Bitcoin. We never had big companies like Fidelity or BlackRock or ARK invest into Bitcoin, mining companies and grayscale ETFs. So if you think that there's just not enough money, there's no way that Bitcoin could go up the same way. Well, think again, because we didn't have any of these things happen before, and Bitcoin still went up that much. This time around, even though the dollar figures are so much higher, there is so much more money at stake, so much more money coming in because the world has a ton of money. So despite the fact the overall market cap at 2.1 trillion, that is nothing. That's a drop in a bucket in terms of how much money is out there and how many people are actually looking to move other assets into Bitcoin and crypto. So just want to give you guys a reminder, a history course of what happened during 2017. And if you relate it to what's happening now, it's pretty similar. Of course, history doesn't always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. And we're seeing very, very, very similar behavior. Now, besides that, just looking at what else is going on, I kind of mentioned this a few days ago with Bitcoin. Last time Bitcoin did a 5.5x surge was when the MACD on the daily flipped green. And that's exactly what happened. It happened a few days ago. You can see the last time this happened was back in September, October timeframe when Bitcoin was still at 10,000. And it went up 5.5x, 550% all the way to $64,000. And of course, we pulled back a little bit. But no, we didn't go back down to 10,000 like some people were predicting, or even 20,000. We held pretty much at 30,000, and now MACD is turning green again. So can we see that 550% rise again? That would actually put Bitcoin around $220,000. That may be in the works. That may be in the works. Even if you guys are TA guys, you want to follow some technical signals, this is one big one. MACD flipping over into green on the daily. That's pretty darn good. And even here, you could see, even Anthony Papagliano on CNBC said the same thing about blow off top. In 2017, Bitcoin went from 10,000 to 20,000 in 18 days as a blow off top. It would not surprise me to see something crazy like that happen before the end of the year. Exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. He is talking about 100% gain within 18 days. That is crazy. Crazy. Right? So can we see something like that? Yes. Yes, we can. And, of course, Plan B with the stock to flow model and stock to flow X model is projecting the same thing. This is looking at Bitcoin's current trajectory versus 2017 versus 2013. Okay, well, 2012, 2016. But you could see, if we follow the same path of 2012, 2013, Bitcoin would be close to $1 million by the end of this year. But if we're following the same path of 2016, 2017, Bitcoin will be right around $200,000. Stock to flow, which is a conservative target for Bitcoin, is right around $100,000. Stock to flow X is projecting right around $260,000, $280,000. So somewhere in between, which would follow the path of 2017, Bitcoin will be around $220,000, $230,000. Just like what I was showing you guys from 2017, right? So can it happen? Well, stock to flow hasn't been wrong yet. It's a very long, like, what is it? Metric, I guess. And has been right so far. Can it be right again? Yes. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. All right, what else is there that's really helping drive Bitcoin higher, or what we're seeing right now? Well, according to Will Clement, he posted this: stablecoins starting to flow back into the market. And that is very, very, very important, because while Bitcoin was coming down, we know a lot of people sold. A lot of people sold and put their money into stablecoins, and that those billions upon billions of stablecoins out there. And now that is being used to buy up not only Bitcoin, but also altcoins. This is the reason why we're seeing altcoins, really catch on fire these days, because a lot of stablecoins sitting on the sidelines is coming back in, and there's a lot more waiting to come in. So that's also very fantastic. And what else is there? I mentioned about countries. Well, El Salvador, September 7th is when they go live with Bitcoin as a legal tender. And President Nayib said there's going to be about 200 ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs, and 50 in-person kiosks that are ready to launch September 7th. And all citizens, I believe, gets $100 or $150 worth of Bitcoin. I remember hearing about that, right? So they are definitely moving forward. They're moving forward. Like I said, these kind of things didn't happen. They didn't happen in 2017. They didn't exist. No countries dared to come out and say we're adopting Bitcoin as a legal tender, or we're buying Bitcoin, or we're interested in Bitcoin, right? Even Argentina, they're thinking about the same thing because they're hyperinflation issues, and so many other countries are thinking about the same thing. If you look at usage too, especially in development countries, the volume of Bitcoin just keeps going up. It's skyrocketing. These kind of things didn't really happen in 2017, right? So this is a big reason why we could see the same kind of growth that we saw previously with Bitcoin back in 2016, 2017, and even 2013. And of course, the miners are doing fantastic. Look at the hash rate. It is coming up almost like a V-shaped recovery right now, right? Of course, we had a big drop in hash rate because China pushed out the miners. Now all the miners out there, like Riot and Mara and everyone else, Galaxy Digital, they're buying mining machines left and right and spinning it up, and you could see that the hash rate is definitely increasing in a very, very volatile manner, just skyrocketing back up, right? And of course, I mentioned we have big Wall Street players like even BlackRock and Fidelity, two of the biggest, I would say, asset managers in the world. They're getting into Bitcoin as well. They have invested in Bitcoin mining companies like Mara and Riot, right? And we know that's not the extent of it. We know that they're also picking up Bitcoin. So again, this kind of stuff didn't happen. This kind of stuff did not happen before. You have these guys like BlackRock and Fidelity each own trillions of assets under management. Okay, trillions. Not billions, trillions of assets under management. You think they're going to be sitting on the sidelines waiting for Bitcoin to go up while they miss the train? No. They're all jumping. Again, this is an example of what didn't happen in 2017 and what is happening right now. And of course, PayPal, rumored forever to offer crypto services or crypto trading. Well, they launched to their 355 million users, but not completely yet. However, they are going to be launching for UK customers. So those of you guys in the UK, you can use PayPal in the near future. PayPal, of course, is not as good as a traditional wallet or exchange because you can only buy and they just hold it for you. You can't withdraw, you can't deposit, but they said they're working on it. But regardless of that, their user base is vast and they're in almost every country out there. The biggest payment services company by far, and they embraced crypto and Bitcoin, and they even help businesses accept crypto and Bitcoin. Again, this did not happen in 2017. This came this year, right? Again, this is a huge catalyst for businesses, for adoption, and for buying. When there's FOMO, when we have that 500% growth in the last few months, and everyone wants a piece, where do you think they're going to jump on to get it? Are they all go sign up to Coinbase to buy? Well, some will, but most will just jump onto an account that they have already, like PayPal, and to start buying, right? It just makes it so much easier for people to buy if they wanted to. And it wasn't that easy in 2017. People weren't familiar with Coinbase of the world or Gemini's of the world. Right now, it's so much easier. And you have a lot more options too. You could even jump on Robinhood if you wanted to. Okay, not that I advise that, but you could. And we already saw what happens when you have a group of people jump in with Dogecoin, right? You could see how fast Dogecoin rose up, something that I think most of us veterans never expected to happen, but it did, right? It did. And of course, someone's mentioning in the chat, I didn't even bring up an article, but let's not forget Amazon and Walmart and Facebook and Microsoft and Apple. Every single one of these companies is hiring a block lead or a payment lead, and they all want to come out with something similar that competes with PayPal. They don't want to let PayPal eat everyone's lunch. They want a piece too. And they're all getting ready to dive in. So again, this is all happening. This is all happening right now. Didn't happen before in previous cycles. This is why the money flowing in this time is so much bigger than previous cycles, which is why this 200,000 plus figure for Bitcoin could definitely be around the corner. what else is there? Well, I found this to be very, very interesting. Visa just bought a CryptoPunk. Out of all the things they could buy, they decided to buy a CryptoPunk. And this wasn't cheap. I was trying to figure out how much this went for. So I went to CryptoPunk, and I think it's this address, because this address only has one. Yeah, and they placed a bid for, no, they won for $166,000, approximately 49.5 ETH. Which, if you think about, that means Visa had to buy ETH first. So you could definitely say Visa is an Ethereum holder, but now they're also a CryptoPunk holder. So this shows you how the landscape has changed. Okay, this didn't happen. First of all, NFTs was around in 2017, nowhere close to where it is now. Big money flowing in to DeFi and NFTs, and there was no way in hell Visa would have declared that they bought an NFT in 2017. That just didn't happen. That didn't happen. But anyways, I thought, that's just interesting. And of course, I'm trying to jump into NFT craze too. So I am George0001. There was a 3 ETH bid. I didn't know that you could withdraw bids in OpenSea, but there was a 3 ETH one that got withdrawn. But still, this is pretty substantial. 1.65 ETH, not the 49 that Visa paid, but maybe it'll get up there. There's only one more day before this ends. Very first NFT for those of you guys that are interested. Lastly, what else is there? FTX just keeps going crazy, so they're signing another stadium deal. This is for University of California to take over their Memorial Stadium. It's a pretty substantial stadium, so now it's going to be branded FTX. Of course, it's not the only stadium that they bought the naming rights to. They bought the Miami Heat's one, and now they're getting into college football as well. So FTX is just growing like crazy right now. Growing like crazy. What else? And lastly, you know what? New article on CryptosRUs.com. Stablecoin USDC is changing their reserves. Now USDC will be changed and backed 100% by cash and treasury bills. Right now it's about 61, 62%. And a lot of people didn't like that. And they are going to change 100% backed by cash and treasury bills. So for those of you guys that are wondering which is the best stablecoin out there, right, which is most trustworthy, I would say go with USDC or Paxos. Paxos is already 100% in cash, but not a whole lot of exchanges using them. So, oh, by the way, Binance USD also is 100% back to cash because it's created by Paxos. So that's another option. Right now, it's just USDT is still the biggest out there, but USDC is definitely gaining ground in a big, big, big way. All right. You can see, bounced off. Bitcoin bounced off that 49.5 pretty nicely. Can we see 50,000 again? Of course, we're going to see 50,000. The question is, what happens after 50,000? Do we continue to go up and go straight to $60,000? There's just not a whole lot of resistance there. Well, let's take a look. You could see that there was a big, big, big drop from 60 down to 50, right? So can we see a gigantic candlestick of green like this just go up? Hey, it could happen. Recently we haven't seen any really tremendous pumps for Bitcoin. Remember the days where Bitcoin will go up or down 15, 20%? We haven't seen that recently. Can it happen again? Sure. Especially if the shorts get squeezed, we could definitely see something like that in the near future. But while we wait, Bitcoin is slow and steady right now, but while we wait, altcoins are just on fire. Absolutely on fire. You can't match this kind of performance anywhere else. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. Naomi says she's going to Disneyland. Welcome, welcome. Well, I mean, not. I shouldn't say welcome because I don't live at Disneyland, but congratulations. I do want to hit Disneyland. They have their new Marvel attraction. I definitely want to check it out. Marcel says FTX is in League of Legends too. Yep, I saw that right. FTX is blowing up. They're trying to get in front of everyone, right? So I do think FTX, their token FTT, could definitely be a good buy going forward because they are just getting so big. But the thing is, they're a derivative exchange. So for in the US, I still believe that you can't open an account. So that might hold them back, but they are definitely getting in front of people right now. Cameron is asking, you think there's a lot of behind the scenes buying by these big corporations? Then when someone announces it, they make a huge profit. Of course, this is what happens with a lot of companies. OTC buying is definitely happening, but you know the OTC market only supports so much. The OTC market, if it dries up, guess where the Bitcoin's coming from? Spot exchanges, which is why Bitcoin reserves, Ethereum reserves is tanking on the exchanges. But you know, these are the guys that have announced publicly that they bought Bitcoin. But there's a lot that have not announced. There's a ton. I mean, even Elon said SpaceX owns Bitcoins. We don't know how much. It could be just as much as Tesla, right? But what we do know is if you study the addresses of long-term holders, plus the ones that are just dormant, basically people lost it forever or due to deaths or something, that adds up to 84%. 84% of the total supply. And these guys right now are fighting over the remaining 26%. Right? So they're buying. And there's definitely a lot of buying. What drives Bitcoin up is buying. There's just way more buying than selling, right? And even though some of them may buy OTC market, which doesn't directly affect the price immediately, but overall, it's taking away supply, and that is decreasing. And ultimately, that's what's going to keep driving things higher. So to answer your question, yes. Yes. Spark, hey, George, hope you have a great day. I have a question that doesn't let me rest at night. Do you know what Terry wanted to ask a few streams ago? I think someone posted something. Phil, I think, posted something. Or someone posted something on Twitter or something. He had I don't know if it's a real Terry, but it was a ridiculous question that I had no clue about. It had really nothing to do with crypto, so I have no idea. Thoughts on KAR? I don't know what. I have no clue. No clue about this. All-in-one DeFi platform to help you swap, borrow, lend, earn, and more with micro gas fees. It's a DeFi hub of Kusama. I mean, it looks okay. Looks okay. There's a lot of projects like this, so I can't really tell you whether or not this is going to be outstanding. But it does look like they're pretty good so far. Backers, pretty darn good. You got Coinbase, you have Polychain, Arrington Capital. These are big names in the space. Web 3.0 grants. So, you know, Polkadot also put some money in. Pantera, they have some good backers. This could be good. Could be good. Where are they at? Bad exchanges. If they were on better exchanges, it would definitely help them. If they got added on, they're not even on Uniswap right now. But they need to get on a DEX, and they need to get on a good exchange like KuCoin or Binance or Coinbase. Obviously, it's not bad, but they need better exchanges. Phoenix Flow. Marcel, I've looked at this project before. Whirly down from its highs. I forgot what they do. Yeah, first hybrid liquidity aggregator. I remember this. They compete with what's that other company I like? Orion Protocol. I have seen this before, so I think what they do is, I don't know if they work the same way as Orion Protocol. Orion was working with brokers to get liquidity from centralized exchanges, and then they integrate the DEXs. So I don't know if they work the same way. It could. But, you know, something like this is not, you gotta think like, something like this may not attract people to buy FXF token, right? There's a lot of very useful things out there, but there's not a whole lot of reason for someone to actually buy it. Buy FXF. It could be the same thing with this. If you have a terminal that pulls liquidity and you can use it basically like an AMM, there's really no reason to get that other than if you want to stake it or something, but there's something to think about. All right, there's too many super chats today. Welcome everyone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. All right. Open source for students. The only people from Afghanistan escaped with their wealth are the ones who bought crypto before the United States pulled out. Afghanistan's currency is collapsing. That is correct. I mean, it's not something that's very sexy. Obviously, we don't want to see governments collapse or currencies collapse. But when people are looking to flee a country and they want to pull their wealth out, and banks are basically closed, they don't allow you to withdraw. Well, what are you going to do? You're stuck, right? And even if you had a bunch of fiat, like if there's collapsing, it's worth nothing. And if you have a bunch of gold, that's very hard to transport, right? Bitcoin is the easiest wealth transferring system out there. It really, you could have billions. You could have billions inside a USB key, and you take it with you and no one will know, right? So that is true. That is true. Mark, I have seen the NFT for West Coast custom cars. I don't really have thoughts about it. I don't really think car guys really care about NFTs, in my opinion. But I may be wrong on that. But it's just one of those projects I've seen before. Scrolling, making sure I don't miss anything. Space Boy, thank you. So you'll take gains when it hits 64,000. Would you take gains if this is your first year in crypto and deal with high taxes? Yes. Don't worry about high taxes, okay? If you make income, you're supposed to pay taxes. And I know people are like, taxes is theft or whatever. Get over it, okay? That was 200 years ago. If you're making money, it's okay to pay taxes. You know why? Because you're making money. So what's worse is, right? What's worse is you don't have cash on hand to be able to buy the dips and corrections. That's much worse. Now, if you have a ton of cash on the side and you want to let your crypto ride out, right? Just ride it up to the top, or you plan on just holding forever, that's okay. But I know many people, they put in all their money, right? And then when there are dips, they're not able to take it out and buy the dips. And this cycle, if there is a blow off top, we know that things will come down afterwards, right? So the best way to play that is you could have a lot long-term holdings of Bitcoin or whatever during the dip, but you want to be able to buy while it's low too, so you could take advantage of that. And if you don't have money, you don't take profits, you don't have any cash on the side, then you're at a disadvantage. Of course, you could just keep holding and wait it out, sure. But make sure you have that cash on the side in case there is a big correction or dip or blow off top correction afterwards, right? So that you can take advantage. And if you have to pay taxes, so be it. There's ways to offset taxes. Speak to your accountant, okay? Speak to your accountant, create a business, and then you can offset those taxes in other ways. There are deductions that you can definitely do. Thoughts on Hero? I've seen it before. It allows you to create, like they have something that could scan like a real object and make it an NFT. I don't know how practical that is. I don't know how many people are actually going to use that, but it's in NFT space, so it's probably doing pretty well right now. I think it's Meta Hero. Yeah. I think it's this one. 100 million market cap. Not too bad. But yeah, their thing is scanning real life projects or real life things into NFT. Thoughts on long and short term Chili's and Solana? I like both, but I'm really, really bullish on Solana. I hold a lot of Solana. FTX, I've been talking about them. They're blowing up. They're going to continue to do well, and they have so much billions invested into Solana and its ecosystem. And Chili's is also expanding. They've added a ton of NBA teams recently. No one's really talking about it. They added like 20 NBA teams recently. So they're still executing. And they're in a tokenization game, not so much NFTs, but I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that is coming. Varsity is also doing very well. They're just getting more out there. They're getting a name out there, getting integrated more with, esports and tournaments and stuff like that. Space Boy says, I've been with you since 2018. Thank you. I learned a lot from you. I love your conviction and optimism. That's what I try to bring. Cars on KuCoin? Oh, it didn't show. What, did they just get added? Is that why people are asking about it? TVK, they just Terra Virtua NFT play. They just announced they were moving to Polygon. So they're doing pretty well. They have movie studio rights that has helped them, and if they continue to get more rights, that could definitely help them. They have their own marketplace too. Linear and Chainlink. When do you think Chainlink's go pump? It's go pump. Just give it time. And Linear, I know a lot of big VCs are into it. I forgot what they're doing. They're like creating a fund or something. I forgot what they were doing. But I know I looked at it and I wasn't very impressed with it. Maybe I was thinking of another project. I thought, maybe I was thinking of another project. Okay. So it seems like they're like a code base for others to use to build decentralized applications. Not a very sexy project, in my opinion. So. Terry has stopped coming. I don't know if he's just hidden in the chat or he stopped showing up. Stacks. The reason why Stacks is not more popular, Levon, is because we have so many other chains that's doing the same things. Okay? That's not on top of Bitcoin. I think the only people that is really, really pushing Stacks is Bitcoin maximalists because they don't want to see DeFi and NFTs thrive, smart contracts thrive outside of Bitcoin, right? So that's what Stacks is doing. And it could work out well, but we have powerhouses and dApps that's already being used and is popular and is riding on top of chains like Ethereum and Binance Coin and soon Cardano and Polkadot and Solana, so it could do well, but I just don't see the need for it. Bitcoin, I see it as a store of value. I don't see the need to have like Stacks, a layer 2 on top of it to try to create DeFi on top of it. So, all right, last few questions. Let's see. For Nano, I don't. Just because he said it doesn't mean it's true. A lot of people say a lot of things. What is this? Torg has $1 billion market. That can't be right. Anyways, something awesome is coming. It's not even done. I don't know what this is, but it can't be right. It can't be $1 billion in market cap right when it just launched. So Have you heard anything about Carnomaly? They are sponsoring 96 car in an upcoming NASCAR race. I think their mission is to bring crypto into the auto purchasing industry. Wow, they tanked from their IDO. Practical blockchain solutions for buying, selling, or owning a car. Whether you need help finding an auto loan or selling a car, Carnomaly offers all the perks of blockchain, accessibility, security, and transparency, and tools that anyone could use. Yeah, it's just way too early. Way too early. Buying cars is so cars, car loans, I mean, stuff like that. I think it's going to be years off before we need a blockchain for that or have blockchain dApps for that. Car management, for your service records and stuff like that, that could be useful. But yeah, I just don't see it applying or translating well for a very long time. And if they're sponsoring a NASCAR race, you know what they're doing? They're burning money. They're burning cash. And that is also a big question mark. Such an early stage project trying to spend so much money on NASCAR that's going to give them zero adoption and zero visibility. That's a very questionable play. What do you think about new Binance launches like WaxP? Yeah, Wax is an old project. Mike Novogratz bought into them. They're a big NFT play, big NFT marketplace for gamers. And also they have a ton of games just running on top of them. I think Alien Worlds runs on top of Wax. So they're big. They're a good project. Very undervalued, I believe. Hey George, I'm gaining. Should I take profit, let her ride? It's up to you, man. If you feel greedy that you need to take some profits, take some off the top. No one ever goes bankrupt by taking profits. Just take some off the top. It's fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna look at that project. Like speaking about, people are talking about NASCAR or these sponsorship stuff. All right, these sponsorship stuff. Unless you're a huge billion-dollar company like Crypto.com or FTX, where you have money to burn, okay, then I would say it's okay, go for it. But these smaller companies that try to do that, they're just burning all of their money away, and that's really bad management. Most of these projects, they usually go down because they run out of money. It's not due to tech, because mismanagement of money. So if you're trying to sponsor NASCAR, that can't be cheap. And if you're such a small company, that's just a horrible thing to do, in my opinion. Someone asked about Anchor. Not a whole lot of people talk about Anchor these days, but they're just a project that allows creation of staking nodes from other projects where you have to pay. So it kind of decentralized cloud computing in a way. But there's other little things that they do, but overall that's what they do. I've always said it's not a very sexy project. Retail players don't look at Anchor and it's like, oh, it's so good, that this project allows others to create staking nodes. It's just not something that's very sexy. Hathor is also about token creation. I don't know about the two other ones that you mentioned. I think Hathor is okay, has potential. All right, last question. Polyswarm. Can you talk about use case? I don't know what Polyswarm is, so I can't really talk about it. Okay. Let's zoom in here. All right. Well, Bitcoin is going to get back into $50,000. I'm sure of that. But whether or not it hits 220,000 or 200,000 plus, right? That is the big question mark. You know, there's a lot of people that just think that can't possibly happen. Bitcoin is already too big. The market's too saturated. There just can't be enough money that flows in to drive things higher. Well, I say this. Look at what's happening. Look at everything that's going on with Bitcoin and crypto worldwide, not just US-wide, worldwide. And you'll realize that as big as the market cap is, 2.1, 2.2 trillion, small drop in the bucket compared to how much money is out there and how much people want to get in. Like how much that's sitting on the sidelines. Trillions upon trillions, tens of trillions, 100 trillions that's out there. Man, all that is waiting to flow in. That's why you want to be early. You don't want to be the last person to get in. You want to be early. And right now, in my opinion, still very, very early. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channels, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys.